So anyway, if you've ever wanted to see videos of somebody take a really large, difficult shaped rock and a really large handmade bopper that they haven't used a whole bunch and flail around for quite a while until they end up with something smaller and weird looking to where they can then do some detailed work, that's what this series is about. So get your popcorn and don't get your notepad, because a lot of this is that, do as I say, not as I do kind of stuff. Okay, you've been warned. Not by, watch. Okay, I'm back. I filled up a 5-gallon bucket or more yesterday with big old flakes off of stuff. This is a piece of Georgetown that I started edging this morning, and one of the problems you run into with Georgetown, like I say, I don't get very many big pieces of anything, but this was one that had some apparent machine damage around it and this kind of stuff. But what I want to show you is this thing is full of cracks, and there's a big crack there, there's a crack there, there's a crack here, crack here, crack here. There's a seam that's not fully filled in and healed along there, and big crack here and crack here. And so I just stopped on this one for now because, it's still got some good practice in there, but odds are, because of the way, when I look on the edges, I see some of the cracks, if one's halfway through it or more on one side, another one's halfway through it on the other side, well, probably somewhere in the middle, after you've spent a lot of time on this, it's going to separate and fall apart. So anyway, that's one of the challenges you run across. But then here is another challenge that you run across. This has got probably a 3-inch wide and 2-inch wide, 2.5-inch wide, machine head on it. I don't see a bunch of radiating cracks going into it from there. It's too soon to know if there's any issues like that. But when you've got that wide an area and you've only got this wide, this is maybe 5 inches. What am I going to make out of that? A 2-foot long drill? I don't know. So anyway, I've started addressing that. I'm trying to save the length. You can see in here how I'm trying to save the length. I'm trying to go right up to the center line and start thinning aggressively, kind of semi-aggressively, on the end in a way that doesn't confound further flaking. Not messing myself up any here. I hit a couple of overshot kind of things over here, this is mostly a flat surface, so I didn't continue into here. I may hit another 1 or 2 in here, but I'm just trying to do things in a very particular order and very carefully. And unfortunately, I've got this set up to where the view is okay, but it's going to be cattywampus, because instead of having it like this when I'm working, I'm usually going to be working with it like this, which I'll just have to deal with it. One of the problems you run into with working this big stuff, and I may not talk as much because I need to concentrate. I'm using my leg quite a bit to redirect energy. And sometimes I'm holding it up off my leg. Oh, I know what I wanted to say. It's very difficult to work a big rock like this without getting cut, or worse. And yesterday when I was working a rock, I got a cut there and I got a cut here, and depending upon where you get cut on your fingers, it's just from handling the rock. Depending upon where you get cut on your fingers, if it's an area that really bothers you, you may not be in your best form for a few days. So I'm putting this glove on, number one, to remind you to be safe, even if I'm not all the time. But also, this glove was given to me by somebody who killed one of their fingers permanently, flint knapping. Basically shot a flake in somewhere in the finger that severed the tendon, and that was it. So, you heard it here. Flint knapping is dangerous. And try not to talk when you're napping. because you will eat flakes occasionally. This is a big bopper. If you've watched my earlier videos, you've probably seen it before. Being very conservative at the moment. Now by holding this thing way out on the end and then resting it on my leg, I'm kind of stopping it from vibrating in a way that's harmful. I'm keeping it off my leg for these two flakes. That was hitting that delta that was left. That was hitting the other delta that was left. You want to see what I did? Yeah. Boom, boom. Kind of hinging it in there. Don't really care. Want to get it a little thinner, and I'll cut those hinges off from the side later. I don't abrade huge amounts when I'm trying to do this because it doesn't work. You know, if you hit on the edge, you have to really spend a long time abrading. The only reason I'm abrading the edge is to keep it from cutting me. If you hit on the edge, you have to really spend a long time abrading to try and get the edge to where it'll do any good and stand up. So I prefer to just go ahead and take one flake to get cortex off, and then if I want to, take another flake, and even reversing. See, this is rolled this way and up. Well, I can just put that down like this and it's backwards, but if I hit up above and catch the edge up here, and careful not to catch too much, I mean, I don't want to hit over here, but it'll wrap on my leg, watch. See, it kind of clean that, I pushed that one that way a little bit, or a lot. I hope this is working well. Otherwise I'll be talking a bunch and distracted a bunch for no reason. The reason I usually don't video doing anything particularly racy is because it is very hard to concentrate. I'm gonna come down and hit on this knob because I know this knob is not gonna be in my finished point. I was turning this up, going straight down several times. Trying to keep the platform semi-steep to go back the other way. Getting this chalk off is a total pain in the butt, so I just leave it on and hope for the best and whack that sucker off. I mean, look at the chalk. I'm real careful on this. I wanna not take any flakes at all on this that aren't carefully planned because it's so narrow and so thick. I mean, I can mess around here. Back here, I gotta be careful. I'm gonna try and make something long. I mean, think about it. Even if you want to make a lanceolate blade, this is about 3 inches, 4 inches wide total. This is about the same. You know, you got to lose a couple inches of thickness. What are you gonna have left? I mean, you got to be good to save 2 inches out of this thing. And I'm talking seriously good. I have a big saw. Now since I'm hitting in the middle, I'm being relatively careful even though I'm just doing little stuff. The other thing is you always want to dump your leg pad a bunch, because have a water bottle for your eyes if needed. Another reason I don't like to film during the summer is because the heat index here has been like 107 degrees or something lately, and it's I can't run my fan because it makes too much noise when I'm filming. Okay, so this is one of those things where, okay, I'm going to hit it really fairly hard. Actually, I'm going to hit it because I got good thickness here, and that platform is at an okay level and everything, so I'm going to try and blast off a little bit of chalk. And so I'm holding my leg, but this is off my leg here, and the back is off my leg, and I got my hand back here. So it could vibrate, so I just got to make sure I hit the right direction. Oops. And you're like, well, that hinged out. Yeah, but it went far enough. It's okay. Plus, I got a lot of thickness left, so ain't like I can work into it. Or can't work into it. Okay, so I'm just gonna do one more little dink thing right there. Kind of held that one up a little bit so it wouldn't dig in and hinge a bunch. Just to clean up. And do one out right here. Clean it up. Same concept. Same concept. Raising that edge up. Well, you say, well, what about this big old square edge? Yeah, I know it's there. I haven't forgotten it. It's just, again, I'm already thinking about this. I'm thinking, well, I know I have to go all the way around it. So if I can work my way around it and come to this from this side too, then I can work this big thing off from both ends at the same time. And there's more width here. So if I do more work from this end towards that, because this is already getting really steep there. You know, I guess I can just go ahead and try to do myself a little bit of good here. I don't like hitting on perfectly square edges because, you know, it ain't a good idea. But that didn't hinge too bad. I mean, you got to do something. Now it's digging in because it's really straight up and down here. There's how that looks. And you say, oh, that's ugly. Yeah, I know, okay. See, I'm thinking if I hit right through there and thin some, and hit right there here, that isn't a bad thing to do. You're like, well, shouldn't you step down to that? This garbage truck's gonna be loud for a minute, so. Launch smother, Bob. I'm gonna start a new video. Hold on, be right back.